the eternal Father, and the word of Jehovah you sent to us, the ruler of heaven and the governor of the souls of men. Be unto me my God, my King, my ruler, my guide, in this life and the life to come. For thou hast made this body as a temple, and within it thou hast set a throne for the soul. This throne is not of gold, Father, nor of stone, but of thought, intent, and obedience. So I ask, Father, to teach each and every one of us this morning concerning the throne room within the secret chambers where the heart speaketh unto thee. I ask to reveal within us what ruleth within us, whether it be the counsel of thy wisdom or thy whisper of corruption. Let thy light search the inward parts of our bodies and try the rooms of our hearts, that we may discern the governors of this body, the will and the desire of the Spirit. Let not the seed of our soul be usurped by pride, nor by the scepter of our own will, but be held by anger. But let the truth sit upon the throne, and let righteousness be the crown that adorn our minds. For thou hast sent the word Jehovah. Thou art the true monarch of the flesh and spirit, the great king who sits between the cherubims of consciousness and understanding. And when the winds of temptation raise, I ask to be our governor. When the floods of emotion break forth, I ask to be our captain. When the gates of thought are besieged by confusion, be thou watchman upon the tower, and not a strange spirit may enter in to defile these temples. But I ask to teach us the govern of the souls, that we may be discerned, Father, between the voice of king and the cry of flesh. For the body is thy workmanship, and the spirit is thy breath. The will is thy scepter, entrusted to man. Let us be welded with fear and trembling, and bow our hearts before thee continually. Be to me, Jehovah, my guide in every judgment, my ruler in every decision. I ask to be my king in every conflict, my shepherd in every wandering. Direct my steps as thou doest lead Moses through the wilderness, and let thy presence fill the inner sanctuary. And Father, when thou open thy books of thy word this morning, let the veil be removed from our understanding, and cause this lesson of the throne room of our body be written, not with ink, but with the fire upon our hearts, and every ear hear, and every mind perceive, and every soul bow before thee in reverence. O Father of spirits, let thy glory dwell within these earthly vessels, till these bodies become thrones of obedience and rule by now and forever. For thy kingdom, thy power, and thy domain be yours forever. I pray this in the name of Jehovah. In Jehovah I will always pray in. Amen. And shalom, everyone. Shalom. I want to welcome everyone to the house of the Lost Sheep of Israel as we preparing for the day to get ready to go into the house of Jehovah. And before we get started, as we know, we have a few announcements that once we go into the Zoom area, we will have the kids class as well, but then also some other teachings that follow behind there. And then we should be getting an update based on what's going on with tabernacles. So that we'll be looking forward to. So people can start preparing themselves for tabernacles. And we want to pick up from where we left off at, but many people were still pretty confused about what was going on. And when we do these this lecture that I'm moving forward on, it goes, and many times we go through within a will, within a will, within a will. And we have to understand those. So I also put some PowerPoints up to try to assist us to understand what we need to do and what we need to learn. So the thing is, as we pick up from last week, and from the foundation and what we learned thus far, we want to make sure that we take our time and not speed through trying to keep up with the Joneses. Everybody should follow me. Because we're not trying to keep up with the Joneses, but we're trying to run our own race. So a lot of times what happens, and one of the deacons I was speaking with, and he said a very, very profound thing. He said, I don't try to bite off everything. What I do, I listen, and then I take that and I meditate on that. He said, because if I try to eat the whole thing, I'll actually choke. He said, so I take off pieces. Very wise statement. And I've actually saying that I actually tell you. That's what a lot of times what's the best thing to do. Bite off pieces. But I'm trying to help you guys today to where we're going to go a little bit deeper. So a lot of things I'm going to be saying, it might be kind of complex, but I will be showing you the PowerPoints on what we're going to move forward on. So I want you to remember from last week, as we're moving forward on last week, and we got to really pay attention to the hidden mystery from the foundation of the world. But now we are revealing these things through the words of Jehovah, who have made us, each and every one of us, kings and priests unto God and his Father. This is a very, very profound statement. I do want to make sure you guys understand that. An extremely profound statement. And we're going to start learning of that because it's really important to we understand what's going on there. And it tells us right there in Revelation chapter 1, verse 6, it says, and have made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. To him be glory and dominion. We're going to find out what a lot of this means forever and ever. Amen. So let's look at it this way. I want to make sure that each and every person have your pencil, have your paper. We need it out, but I'm also have where you can also make drawn illustrations, if to say. Drawn illustrations. Better word. And so we got to look at this. Each soul among us, and each soul among you. I want you to keep this in mind. So each soul that is hearing the sound of my voice, I want you to put, if you are a male, you put king. If you are a female, you put a royal ruler. Because I want to show you what this is going to get into. So each and every soul in the sound of my voice, young and old, is either a king or a royal ruler. It's what you are. So just put that in there to where you can know exactly what you are. Females put royal ruler, in males put king. It's real simple. And we're going to go through this to where you can understand what actually is happening. And I want you to understand this is your position. This is the will within a will within a will. So we won't get too confused. So with that, as a king or a royal ruler, you have sovereignty. You're a lord. And not of earthly territories, but of the sacred dominion, the dominion which we're going to get into, of Jehovah have granted you. He have granted you, and he granted the kingdom of your own temple body. I want you to stay with me. So the spiritual metamorphosis, we can say, spoken of, were through the washing of his blood, meaning his lifestyle that is in the dominion of you. You see where this is going. You see where this is going. So with this metamorphosis, within your kingdom, you had this metamorphosis. Same thing like you remember you had to go to Nineveh. But the same thing within your body, you have to do this with the washing of his blood, of his lifestyle, yet undergo this transformation that is subject of earthly kingdoms and sovereigns into this heavenly realm. As he said, know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost? I want you to keep those in mind. Each are monarchs seated upon the throne, dominion, judgment seat, sovereignty. Your inner being exercising the very dominion over sin, flesh, spiritual wickedness. The prince, the kings of the earth is granted unto the royal priesthood. So we have to remember the architecture that we setting up to bring you to the closer truth. I want you to stay with me. So that's why I said we're going to be looking at some illustrations as we go through this, and I'm gonna be running back and forth to the regular scriptures to make sure we understand what's going on. But we want to make sure we clearly get what's happening here. Clearly get. Because we got to remember that our bodies is the temples. But then that the forbidden union in earthly kingdoms yet ordained in the spiritual order of Melchizedek. Look at the understanding. So your eyes serve as windows. They serve as windows on what we're getting ready to do. These are windows. Your ears as gates. So I want you to put in there, right on the side of what you're doing, the windows is going to serve as eyes. So your eyes are the windows through which light and darkness seek entrance. I want you to put that on the side. I also want you to put on there that your ears as gates are both wisdom, folly, petitions for audiences. Keep that in mind. Your heart. That's the inner throne. The inner throne where the soul presides with the scepter and the scales of your consciousness. Then we have 3 counselors. The counselor stands in this perpetual before the throne. These counselors are of this one, the counselor is a fleshly appetite, who speaketh of immediate gratifications. The counselor of earthly wisdom, who promises security through human understanding. And then you have the counselor, the spirit, who whispereth Jehovah's eternal precepts. But as king, ye must judge with counsel to follow. Keep that in mind. So we must intercede through prayer and spiritual sacrifice, meaning we got to establish these covenants with him. This is the divine reversal, the weak made strong, the servant made rulers, based on things both noble through blood of the Lamb, the lifestyle of a lamb. So the question to every soul king, to every soul royal ruler, ye rule those who washed in the blood, and you will be addicted by the throne. Because of the very principality that ye are called to have dominion. So we want to look at this. We want to look at this closely. And I want to go, there we go. So we want to look at this and make sure we get this. So this is the parable of the three guardsmen. But I want you to remember one thing. We're going to look at that real quick. I'm going to put this up there and keep this in mind while we move forward. In First Corinthians chapter 3, looking at verse 16. We're going to hold to that. And it says, know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? That's a question mark. So I ask you this. Because we are bought with a price to glorify God. We are bought for a price to glorify God. We got to keep this in mind. So I need you to listen closely. These temples, they're going to contest territories. No governor and no ruler ever governs alone. No soul sits unopposed upon thrones. This is where the battle begins for each and every one of us. So, as I said, do you know who they are? These are the three great powers spoken in the parable of the guardsmen, which we see. We're going to go back to it in Idris. Let's look at this. In First Idris chapter 3, picking it up at verse 4, it tells us it's going to be real clear. And it says, and the three young men that were of the guards kept the king's body. Exactly the point. One spake to another. One spake to another. I want you to pay real close attention to what's going on here. So as we go through here, the first, when we see here in 3:10, the first wrote, wine is the strongest. Wine is the strongest. Let's look at something. So he said, wine is the strongest with altars, which he's going to talk about. We're going to be looking at this a lot deeper. Because it alters perception and make kings forget their authority. That's one. The second wrote, king is the strongest. The third wrote, women is the strongest. You see the same thing here. The second proclaimed, kings is strongest. The reason why I just put little synopsis there, for he commands armies and determines the destiny of nations. The third is Zerubbabel. Declared women are strongest. Above all things, truth is victor. And he says that right there. And he says, but above all things, the truth bears away the victor. So we see here. So we see what we're going into. And I want you to really take close understanding, take very good notes on what you're about to see. Because this understanding, this is not a contest. You got to remember, this isn't a contest of literal wine or earthly monarchs or physical women. No, I'm not speaking of that. This is a spiritual parable, a dark saying that reveals the invisible powers contending for dominion over your soul. Everybody follow me. It's over dominion for your soul. Let's look at something. I want to show you something in Romans. We're going to go over to Romans 7:23. I want you to stay with me. Romans 7:23 says this. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bring me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members. Wow. Hosea declared this also. And we'll see this, Hosea, we're going to look at 12 and 10. And it says, I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied vision and used similitudes by the ministries of the prophets. Jehovah is showing you how he used this because he said this all the time. We'll see, we use it all the time. We'll see this in Psalm 78 and verse 2. It's telling you, I will open my mouth in a parable and utter dark sayings of old. So we can see this, how these dark sayings, these similitudes, they are meant to illuminate truth seekers, not to confuse you. They meant to confuse hunters. So we must strive to know what the truth is, because it's truth that sets you free. Let's look at something. Let's move a little bit more. Proverbs 16:32. We're going to move a little bit more. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. He that ruleth his spirit than he that talketh taketh the city. This has become very interesting. Very interesting. Because we're here. As it says, know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. We ran that. That should have changed that. That's 6:19. It should have been 6:16. But we can overlook that one. Because every soul is marked set upon the throne within the kingdom of their own body. So this body is not mere flesh and bone. It's a temple. Your body is a temple, a fortress, a sacred charge given by Jehovah himself. And as I said, we overlooking this. Eyes are its windows. Keep that in mind. Even make a note. What you remember, what you behold, shapes your desires. What you behold, what you remember, shapes your desires. Keep that in mind. Don't forget that. Don't ever forget that. Let me go back. That's going to shape your desire 100%. So we got to keep those. Hold on to it. Remember it. Don't forget it. On what it's doing. 2, ears are its gates. What you hear determine what enters. Everybody follow me. Make notes of this. These are important notes you need to make. The heart is the throne room, where the soul presides with the scepter of will. It's going to preside of the scepter of will. I want you to stay with me. The mind is the counselor chamber, where decisions are weighed. I want you to keep this in mind. Don't ever change this. I want you to remember something. What are we doing? We're going to look at this in Romans chapter 1, verse 20. Most people know this by heart because we use it quite a bit. And it says, for the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead. So they are without excuse. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So we got to look at this for what it is and what it's about. I want to stop this one. Let me stop this one. And I want to go somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to use it this way, a little bit simpler. So we're looking at this. We got to understand this. So we got to examine this. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world. So our visible body is a similitude. Everybody understand that. Our bodies are similitudes. Everybody with me? Everybody understand what I'm saying? Just say aye. Our bodies are similitudes. I want you to stay with me on that. Now I'm going to show you why. They are the carnal picture that reveals spiritual truth, just as a king or a royal ruler sits on a physical throne with counselors standing before him. So your soul sits on the throne of your heart with spiritual powers. Vain don't mean nothing but competing. Just competing for your attention. I just use, because vain is saying the same thing, but that's all it's doing. But that's a legal term. I did that by accident, but that's just a legal term. But vain is just mean competing. So the three counselors stands before your throne. One is wine, spiritual intoxication, false doctrine, and teachings divorced from Jehovah's authority. That's one. Two, the king, earthly authority, religious systems and human hierarchies that assert divine rule, meaning they're going to take by force to rule. Then you have women, which is spiritual influences, seducing spirits and forces that animate doctrines and authority. So the temple is contested territory. I don't know how to get rid of this. Let me see. Hide that from this session. So this temple is contested territory. No ruler governs alone. No ruler governs alone, like the Most High governs with his word. No soul sits unopposed upon his throne. The question is, which counselor will you heed to? Which one are you going to heed to? That's the key. Let's look at something. The first one, wine, the counselor of spiritual intoxication. We want to understand this. So wine is the Hebrew understanding, the ones who crossed over. The one who crossed over. I'm not asking about the carnal ones. I'm talking about the ones who are truly crossed over. Represents all doctrines, teachings, and spiritual experience that intoxicate the mind and emotions without transforming the heart. Everybody follow me? That's why I say I'm trying to take some of the spiritual out to mix it to where you can understand what I'm saying. So when you're drunk with wine, you represents the doctrines and teaching, the spiritual experiences that intoxicate the mind with the emotions without transforming your heart. That's what's going to happen. And it is faith built on feelings, joy derived from circumstance, the wisdom that evaporates when the trial comes. You follow me? Very interesting. These key biblical warnings, which we're going to look at. We're going to look at each one. And we're going to sit there and we're going to see them here. Let's put them back up. We're going to look at Ephesians 5:18. We're going to see that one. And we're going to look at Proverbs 21. Ephesians 5:18. And Ephesians 5:18. We got Proverbs 20:1. Let's go back and grab some more. Proverbs 23:31. Proverbs 23:31. 31, 32, and then we got Revelation 17:2. In Revelation 17:2. So we're going to read all these together, even though it's saying it over there. But we want to look at Scripture, and then we can pull it better. What it's saying in Ephesians 5:18, it says, "Be not drunk with wine, wherein it is excess, but be filled with spirit." It is excess, but be filled with spirit. You see what we're saying here. We have Proverbs 20:1. Wine is a mockler, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. You see how blunt this is. So the same thing is what we can look at. People who drink and people who have been drunk and people who get drunk on a normal basis. They can say what you want. You can say it however you want, but those people are not wise. They are not wise. It's telling you, and it's telling you right, not wise. And we're going to look at 31, 32 in Proverbs 23. It tells us, "Look not though upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color in a cup, and when it moveth itself aright, in the least it biteth like a serpent, it stings like an altar." Exactly the point. Exactly the point. This is why it's so important. As we know in Revelation 17:2, it says, "Whom the kings," you see it go, "who the kings of the earth." So now it's talking about us. These kings, these royal rulers, us. Now you see how this happens? Us, whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. All of us. I never drank. I don't like alcohol. I don't drink any type of alcohol. But it's telling you right here, of whom the kings of the earth, which I'm here, I've been spiritually intoxicated. Some been both. Some been spiritually and physical intoxicated. In here, it's telling us the kings of the earth is committed fornication. The inhibitors of the earth has been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Now we can't get around this. We cannot get around this. Anybody tell you they have not been drunk with her intoxication, they're telling you a bold-faced lie. They're telling you a bold-faced, unadulterated, low-down, dirty dog lie. This thing happens. So the spiritual function of wine. Wine operates as a power in the soul throne room. I want you to keep this in mind with you. I want you to understand we got to look at the inner workings of wine. The inner workings of wine. And it tells us it alters spiritual perception. It's going to alter that. Wine does spiritual vigilance. It separates the soul from Jehovah's authority. It clouds. Actually, let me put this there. I'm going to put this there. This is the one I'm on. I'm on this one. It clouds the ability to discern truth from error, making the voice of the adversary indistinguishable from the voice of Jehovah. Can't tell me that's not true. It's 100% true. %100% true. Why? Why? Because you'll see people drunk, and they can't discern what is true. You got to remember the first garment stood before, and he said wine is the strongest because it possesses this formidable power. It can make kings forget his authority. A wise man speak foolishly. It can make a strong man stumble like a child. Wine can alter your perception. You can lose the tongue that clouds your judgment. But wine, the spiritual sense, you see here. It divides from circumstance. Wine that evaporates when trials comes. Paul actually warned us of this. In Ephesians, we'll go back to it. In Ephesians 5:18, he warned us, be not drunk with wine wherein excess, but be filled with spirit. Told us this. This establishes the critical perception that exists as a counterfeit feeling that mimics the genuine work of the Spirit. So this intoxication, it leads not to holiness, but excess of spiritual ruin, as we see in Proverbs 20:1. You may have a father, a mother, a sister, a brother, a wife, a husband that love being drunken. That love being drunken. And even later, people say they're wise. How? How are you going to make that make sense? I had people I know that were drunkards. Some I know even that kill people in their vehicles from being drunkards. How can I say that these people was wise? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. That's impossible. And that drunkard gonna walk away most times unharmed. So it alters. Wine does the spiritual vigilance. That's what we were saying right there. It does that spiritual vigilance. Separates the soul from Jehovah's authority. That's what it does. Can't get around it. But it creates this legal vulnerability. It's right here. Actually, let me put this mark. I want to mark that. Right here. That's what it does. It creates a legal vulnerability, meaning this. Spiritual intoxication, as I wrote down here, it opens the gate of perception to demonic influences and deception. Demonic influences and deception. Why? The weakened, it compromise creates this legal ground for the enemy to operate. Now your body can operate in these illegal activities. For the enemy operates, it establishes strongholds, it plant false doctrines there. You follow me? Wine. Not only that, it does more. It does more. See, wine symbolizes false doctrine. It symbolizes false doctrine. Wine represents teaching divorced from obedience. Did you know that? Wine, I want to mark it the way you can get it. Wine represents teachings divorced from obedience. Traditions of men elevated above the words of Jehovah, and cunningly devised fables that tickle the ears but leave the heart unchanged. Same thing I was showing you over here well, I don't have it up here, but I'm going to put it up here because we're going to look at 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3. I want you to see it. I want you to see what I'm talking about. We're going to look at 2 Timothy. What I'm doing. 2 Timothy. Actually, let me turn that off for a minute. 2 Timothy chapter 4 in verse 3, because it's tickling this. For a time is come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but have their own lusts, shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears. Itching ears. Tell me what don't do it. It corrupts leadership. It 100% corrupts leadership. When priests and prophets become spiritually intoxicated, they err in vision and stumble in judgment, meaning they're going to stumble in doctrines and teachings. They err in vision and stumble in judgment. They lead the people astray from malice. They lead people astray not from malice, but from compromised perception. Priests and prophets err through wine. We want to look at that in Isaiah 28 and verse 7. We want to look at it, just making sure we on point. Isaiah 28 and verse 7. Let's look at it. I want to make sure we all seeing the same thing. But they also have erred through wine. Through wine. And through strong drink. Or are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They have swallowed up wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. People saying that, where you got that? I'm going to talk scripture all the time. It produces spiritual unconsciousness. Those intoxicated by spiritual wine are never truly awake. You follow me? Never truly alive. They exist in this perpetual fog, seeking the next experience, the next sign, the next prophetic word. But their lives remain unchanged, their thirst unquenched, their heart untransformed. You follow me? Let's look at something. Let's go back over here to 17:2. In Revelation 17:2, again, it says, whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, the inhabitants of the earth has been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. See, the wine of Babylon, this intoxicating doctrines of this world, this system is seduced with the soul into this spiritual adultery. It promises freedom, but delivers bondage. It offers entitlement. It offers enlightenment, but produces blindness. I want you to consider something. I want you to think about something as we're going through this spiritual lecture. I want you to consider the similitude of two wells. Two wells, and one well is filled with sweet, intoxicating wine to the taste. And multitudes flock to this. It's easy to drink, and the effects is immediate. They drink, they dance, they prophesy, claiming great revelations, supernatural experiences. This is the mixture of how women and men by the millions, by the billions, flock even to reality shows. We're going to get into that also. Because it's mixing sense with nonsense. It's mixing sense with nonsense and confusion. The spiritual intoxication that makes the heart merry, that leadeth unto destruction. The effects are indeed immediate, for they have withdrawals from those shows. They create their own wells of drama within their lives, spewing bitter waters and strife and contention, even in their own households. Like those who stumble in drunkenness. They cannot discern between the holy and profane, between truth and cunning devised fables that tickle their ears. They became the wells that cannot satisfy the thirst of the soul, feeding their minds with vain spectacles and foolish contentions that profit them nothing. You know, they studied, and I even did a study. I'm pretty much complete with it. And I'm gonna release it on KJBU.org. But they showed, even reality shows, particularly shows that market designed for black people. That's why I did the study. I've been doing the study for probably about 3 months. But it's almost done. It's kind of a long study, but I'm going to have it where everybody can read it. But it shows a design to study of black people who measurably lower their verbal comprehension and reasoning ability when consumed excessively. They have found more subtle ways to kill your brain cells through strong drink of reality shows. Did you know that? And I'm doing a study, and I'm going to have all my the resources on where I got the information. You see, it's all viable resources. So while you sit enchanted by manufactured drama, carnal displays of capacity to understand Jehovah's precepts grows down dim, your ability to reason through his statutes weaken even with communication within this own world. So the sharp edge of spiritual discernment that should distinguish you as a peculiar people now becomes dull. Think about that. So the adversary need not to blind you with chains or when he's willing to bind yourself with vanity. He's trading wisdom of the law for foolishness. Babylon's entertainment. Becoming ever more unable to comprehend dark speeches, similitudes that contain deliverances from such nonsense. I call this, and I named this. You want to tell what I call it? Vanity entertainment. Vanity-tainment is what I call it. Vanity-tainment of fool illustration. Making the unnormal normal. Making the unnormal normal. I'm going to show you why I say that. Because once I was doing the study, and that's why I said I'm about finished with it. And I'm going to provide that link for it. We're going to see this in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 2. And he says, vanity of vanities, says the preacher, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. Exactly the point. In 7:6, it moves forward, it moves more. 7 verse 6, it moves more. For the crackling of thorns under the pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This is also vanity. People take things and they look at stuff as entertainment, thinking it's funny, and it's just looking at, but it's still is vanity. It's foolish. It's foolishness, so why you watch it? Because it's foolishness. Besides trying to educate the mind. It kills the brain cells. Show me anyone that watches these shows, I can show you their altered understanding from it. I don't care who they are. Show me anyone that watches reality shows, and from the writings that I have, the paper that I've done, the research that I have provided, that I will be showing you, I will show you their altered understanding from it. They believe they are educational, but let me say this. Once you view the research, that report, the study of that, what you'll see, will show everything. We got to remember this. Educational programming operates as a builder of temples of understanding, depositing knowledge, wisdom, and discernment into vessels of the mind according to the patterns shown in Proverbs, where wisdom cries out in the streets and understanding puts forth her voice. And when you consume content designed to teach, to instruct, to edify, you engage in spiritual principles, renewing of the mind, transforming it from darkness to light. from ignorance to comprehension, from foolishness to wisdom. Educational content elevates the higher facilities of reasoning, critical analysis, problem solving, the ability to distinguish between truth and error, which are essential for spiritual function, allowing you to judge righteous in judgment and apply Jehovah's law when you come to those scriptures to understanding. So these types of programming strengthen executive functions, the ability to govern yourself, expands it expands the verbal capacity necessary for speaking truth and teaching others, to develop cognitive, this flexibility, ability to adapt to your understanding as more light is revealed to you. Most people don't know this. Most people don't get this. So I don't tell you things to try to deter you from it, but I'm showing you things that they're making you look at a stupid box to make you more ignorant. See, just as Daniel and the 3 Hebrew children were taught, learning the tongue of the Chaldeans yet remained undefiled because their minds was rooted into the law. Think about it. It was rooted in the law. Educational content provide tools and knowledge that can be welded by spiritual grounded of the mind in righteous purposes. So the mind becomes cultivated ground, this garden that brings forth fruit. Each piece of knowledge serving as a building block for greater understanding, creating this neutral pathway that support apprehension in the deep spiritual truth in parables and dark speeches. So when they start coming, you can marginalize that. But reality shows controversially function as a weapon of mass spiritual destruction. That's why you have more black ones than any other one. More black ones than any other one. That's why they make people ignorant. The modern fulfillment and warning that the last days of men will be lovers of themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, without natural affection, truth breakers, false accusers, incontent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. It's all there. Excuse me. So even in my research, you'll see, it reveals this, even doing a neutral one, that the programming tool, the literal reshapes, excuse me, it reshapes the brain structure and function, lower the verbal intelligence. Did you know that? Did you know even when you go in for interviews to this day, don't you know they can, when they interview, that's why they change and alter interviews so much, because they can tell if you are a reality watcher of television or a educator or watcher of other educational programming. Did you know they can do that? They have the skills to do that now. So this is why people had a problem. Your ability to articulate, comprehend words is damaging executive function. Your ability to exercise self-control and sound judgments, cultivating aggressive, manipulative, this suspicious communication pattern that destroys authentic fellowship and makes long-term trust obsolete. Why? You watch reality shows. That's what it produces. Why do you think they put them there? Why do you think they put them? That same thing when they made wines and alcohol. Where did they put that? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you guys put it in there. When you see where they did all the prostitution, the alcohol, all the bad things in America, what neighborhood did they put them in? I want you to put it in the chat. This without anything. Just put it in the chat. Where did they put them at? And don't be shy. I didn't look for ours. I said put it in there what it is. See, I see some people want to try to be politically correct. I see people they put them in black neighborhoods. Why? So they do the same thing on reality TV shows. That's why they pump it that way. They're real smart about what they're doing. It's not hard. So they do these reality shows that operate through deceptive mechanisms that present themselves as real, while actually depicting scripted vanity, thereby programming viewers to accept manufactured drama, relational aggressions, even passive aggressive manipulation, this malicious villain strategies as normal behavior now in black people. Did you know that? They want to make that normal behavior when you see that. So this social programming is the most insidious that you can see of its kind. Its content bypasses by critical reasoning, by claiming authenticity, then deposit behavioral scripts directed to your subconscious through observable learning. Did you know that? I know a lot of y'all didn't know that. But we're here to learn. Causing you to model gossiping, 1, backbiting, 2, alliance forming, 3, game playing, 4, relational strategies without conscious awareness and infections, 5, in your community. And we're too stupid to figure it out. We're too ignorant to figure it out. And where did they put it? All you gotta do is go to BET. Go to BET, they pump it religiously there, making it one of the number one shows that people want to look. They everywhere. I gotta have BET. Why? Keeping you spiritually intoxicated. Where educational content expands your capacity and later assists in the understanding of Jehovah's precepts, reality television systematically dismantles that capacity, automatically dismantles it. Makes you childish in thinking when you should be mature. Suspicious when you should discern spirits highly and rightly. Performative when you should be authentic. Enslaved to vanity. And when you should be pursuing wisdom, you're pursuing vanity. People can sit there and say whatever they want to say. They're going to put but there. But so do anybody who watches it. And I show you a person that's not wise and can show you why and have data to back it up. They studied outcome. The mind cannot process complex spiritual information, cannot maintain genuine covenant relationships, cannot distinguish between holy and profane, becomes a well without water, appearing to have depth of substance, but unstable to satisfy the soul. True thirst for righteousness and truth. It's key. After the show is over, their lives remain unchanged. When the intoxication passed, they left spiritually empty, their thirst unquenched, their hearts unchanged. They return again and again. Actually, I want to run you somewhere. Because it actually ties this. We look at this Proverbs, I believe I had it already. Yeah, Proverbs 23:35. It's already up over here. And it says, they have stricken me, and thou shalt say, I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. I'm going to keep going back. I'm going to keep rolling back. I'm going to keep rolling back. Seeking the next experience. Either the show, if the show have it, it's cool. If not, you're created within your own life. You're going to seek for the next high. Same thing. One time, my wife and I, we was walking. We was coming out of LAX, and that old idiot, Candy Burris. She was walking. They filming her. My wife said, "Oh, there go Candy Burris." She looked at it but they filming her as she walking because she do a reality. I'm like, please, I ain't thinking about it. Come on, let's go. She looked at me like, who? Ain't thinking about it. She's a reality idiot who helped in destroying her own people. Why would I watch this fool? Why would I even give this fool time of day? See, those other wells, you look at something. You have wells that fill with clear water, plain water. I want you to understand something. Plain water. When you look at plain water has no taste. I want you to keep that in mind. Plain water has no taste. To entice the flesh. And the path is so narrow and overgrown. But those who drink to find their thirst quenched forever. For it was living waters of truth, which cleanse, purifies, and transforms within. However, even Yahushua, he actually says this. I want to show you. We'll see this in John 4:14. I want to show you something. John 4:14. It says, "So whosoever drink of this water that I should give should never thirst. But the water I should give him should be the well of water spring unto everlasting life." Exactly the point. So we have to watch what's going on when we're looking at the same thing, when we're looking at Proverbs 21, 20 and 21. 20 and 1, I'm sorry. 20, I don't know why I kept saying 20, 21. 20 and 1. Wine is a mock, a strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. That's why that rolls that way. Same thing with Isaiah 20, 28 and 7. But they also err through wine and through strong drink. Or out of the way, the priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. This is automatic. This is automatic. So we see here. How wine operates, the mechanics of deception. 1, spiritual perception. Wine clouds judgment. It's going to cloud your doctrines and teaching and weakens discernment, making the soul unable to distinguish truth from error, Jehovah's voice from the adversary's whisper. It's going to do that. You can say, no, yeah, it's going to get you. And 2, it creates a legal ground, which we went over. Spiritual intoxication opens the gate of perception to demonic influences. The weakened state creates legal ground for the enemy to operate and establish deception. As well as 3, separates from Jehovah. Wine severs the connection to Jehovah's authority, leaving the soul isolated, vulnerable, and ruled by emotions rather than the spirit. It's automatic. And as we were looking at with the 2, and you see the one, but I want to put the other one there. I want to put Deuteronomy 32:33. Deuteronomy 32:33. I thought I had it up there. Deuteronomy 32:33. We'll sit there and see that. The wine is a poison of dragons, and the cruel venom of apes, snakes. So we see this. So here lies the danger. Here where lies the danger. Wine corrupts spiritual leadership. Period. Wine corrupts spiritual leadership. Period. When priests and prophets become intoxicated, whether by literal wine or spiritual wine of pride, 1, popularity, 2, or power, 3, they err in vision and stumble in judgment automatically. They want to get prideful. Their popularity opens. Now they think they this, that, and a bag of chips. Hell, this ain't our word. That's the Most High's word. So why you tripping? Why are you tripping? This is our problem. All of a sudden we get popular, and all of a sudden it gets crazy. Or in power, then they're going to err. So this leads to the people astray, not because they are intentionally wicked, but because their perception has been altered. That's why. Their connection to Jehovah's voice severed by intoxication. Y'all follow me? We had a second one where the king. We got the king got to roll down through here now. We got the king gonna roll through. So second, the power of the king. Earthly authorities. Earthly authorities. Interesting, ain't it? The second one said the king is the strongest. Boy. This is the crack up. The second guardsman, I showed you that he declared that the king is the strongest. And indeed, the king possesses great power. He commands armies, enforces laws, determines the destiny of nations, these bodies. His word can elevate pleasant to nobility or condemns the nobleman to death. But the king, in the spiritual sense, in the royal ruler, in the spiritual sense, is what? Is what? The king represents all forms, royal rulers operates all forms of what? All forms of earthly authority that seeks to govern the soul apart from direct authority of Jehovah. It's automatic. It's automatic. This includes not only political power, but also the institutional structures of religion, the traditions of men, the ambition of worldly success and recognition. When the soul heeds to counsel of this king, it begins to build its kingdom according to the pattern of this world, seeking validation from who? From men rather than Jehovah. You follow me? Now we're getting this. Authority and sovereignty. Authority and sovereignty. See, authority and sovereignty represents governance, order, and dominion. So to delegate, then we got to look at delegate versus usurped authority. Let's pull some things down here. Let's look at a few things, and we want to get some understanding here. I want to show you something in Deuteronomy. Before we get to those down there, let's look at Deuteronomy 24:16. Deuteronomy 24:16. I want to look at something before we get there. I want to look at something. It says, the father shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for their fathers. But every man, every male and female should be put to death for their own sin. Key. You're going to go to the lake of fire for your own sins. So when we're looking at this spiritual, legal mechanics, create the spiritual consequences when human authority replaces divine rule. It's automatic. He actually says that. I'm gonna show it to you. We'll see this again in Jeremiah 31:30. He says the same thing. 31:30. It says, but everyone should die for his own iniquities. So now we see sins of the consciousness. That's the conscious mind coming up with these imaginations But then it says, but everyone should die for his own iniquity. Now you actually doing them. Every man that eateth, that learneth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Exactly the point. Exactly the point. So we reach this pivotal moment. Israel history become demanded a king like the nations of around them. Can't get around it. It's there. So the king represents all forms of earthly authority, seeks to govern the soul apart from the direct authority of Jehovah. That's the problem we have. That's the problem we have. We don't want nobody telling us what we can do with our body. You follow me? We don't want nobody telling us what we can do with our body. Look at all of us. And the Bible tells us don't put no marks on our body. Look how many of us got tattoos. I don't have any tattoos, but look how many of us have tattoos. Some people might say, oh, he got a tattoo. No, I don't have no tattoos. None. And didn't have none taken off either. Never had a tattoo. But many of us sitting there saying, I want to control my body. I'm going to put tattoos on my body and I'm going to put them on there. I control my own body. I'm going to govern this apart from the authority of Jehovah. I can care less what it say. I'm going to do this. This concludes the political power, the institutional structures of the religion, traditions of men, and their ambitions for worldly success and recognition. I heard a man, he called himself a pastor. He said now he's telling the people, if you get a tattoo, make it like a bird. Get it like a little canary bird. He's trying to tell you, put these harmless ones on there. Put these harmless. Is it a tattoo? Yeah. Don't do it. You know, if you want to get one, just put a harmless one. Why? Because his entire music section had tattoos. Even he had one. So why will he talk against it? They're doing it as traditions of men. Let's look at Samuel 8:7, because we already see what it says here, but we got to go there. We're going to look at it on Scripture. Samuel, we're going to look at Samuel, 1 Samuel 8:7. 1 Samuel 8:7. We want to look at what it say. 8 in verse 7. And the Lord said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people, and in all that they say unto thee. They have not rejected thee. They ain't rejected you, Samuel. They ain't rejected you. They have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. This is this is my body. I do what I want with my body. When Israel demanded a king like other nations, they rejected Jehovah's direct rule. This is the pattern of all earthly kingships that usurp divine authority. Oh, I'm going to wear me a wig. I'm going to put me a wig on. He made you the way he wants you, but you sit there and say, I'm going to wear this anyway. You usurped authority over God. All women can say whatever they want to say. But you take the butt, go take the butt outside somewhere. Go take your butt in the bathroom and wipe it and clean it. You follow me? Same thing with these brothers. Well, I'm going to go put me some of this on. I'm going to go do this. But, where butt come from? Where in the hell did butt come? When did your butt came into this conversation? I'm done. It's comical. All of a sudden, their butt become part of the conversation. Actually, I'm going to tell you what, I want to run this one. I'm going to run one more. I want to run another one, just to where we can get a real good understanding. Actually, 8:7, we're going to go to 8:10. And we're going to go down here. And we're going to start right here. We're going to start at 8:10, right here. And we're going to run this. Actually, we're going to tell you what, I might well put it over here. 1 Samuel, because I want to run down for a minute. I want people to understand something. 1 Samuel chapter 8. We're going to look at verse 10, and we're going to run this down for a minute. I want you to understand a couple of things. And it says, and Samuel told all the words of the Lord unto the people that asked him, and that asked of him a king. And he said, this will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you. So this is what this king going to do to you. He will take your sons and appoint them for himself for his chariots, meaning for his power, his judgment, his visions of glory. This is what he's going to do. And his horsemen, his doctrines, his teachers of the doctrine, and some shall run before his chariots, his visions of glory. And he will appoint them captains and over thousands and captains over 50, and will set them and set to their ear to the ground, and heap harvest unto them his instruments of war, his instruments of his chariots. And he will make your daughters to be confectionaries. He going to make them become female servants, mixtures of doctrines, mixtures of belief and influences in the matrix. This is what he's going to do. He's telling you this right here. And to be cooks and to be bakers. And and he would take your fields and your vineyards and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. He gonna take them from you and gonna give them to somebody else. And will take the 10th of your seed and of your vineyard and give them to his officers and to his servants. And he will take your manservants and your maidservants and your goodliest young men and your asses and put them to his work. Tell you to shut up. And will take 1/10 of your sheep. I'm going to take 1/10 of those. And ye shall be his servant. And ye shall cry out in the day, because your king, which ye shall have chosen, you, and the Lord will not hear you in that day. Why in the hell, when he done sat there, told you right up front what's going to happen, and guess what we said? We're still going to do it. It's your own dang fault. He told you this was going to happen. Right up front, what we do? Well, I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna, just ignorant. We are a ignorant people. Period. We are 100% ignorant. I'll tell you what, I bet you I ain't gonna put it in there. I bet y'all ain't gonna put it in there. I'm gonna prove the point, because I know most people gonna put a lot, but I'm gonna still say it. How many people still vote in any type of elections in this world? Do you vote for councilmen, mayors, governors, president? If you vote, just say aye. If you do, well, put in. Cause I know a lot of people gonna put it in, but I already know they ain't telling me the truth. I already know they ain't telling me the truth. I already know that. I already know that. You see, we got ends rolling across. But as soon as you sit there and put I and you vote for one of them to be there, why in the hell you voting? He'll sit there saying, I'm going to do this, but when he don't do it, y'all, well, I don't know why you didn't do this. Hell, He king. He ain't got to do what you say. He don't have to do nothing you say. And then you get mad. People insist. We insisted that Jehovah gave them their desires to their own hurt. To their own hurt. This is the great tragedy of counselors of earthly order. See, when he promises stability and strength, so all you got to do, if you rolling with him, I don't care who's in control, you just stay rolling with him. He going to get you through it. He's going to pull you through it. I don't care who's king. I don't care who's governor. I don't care who's mayor. He's going to keep rolling you through it. Just keep rolling you through it. Just keep rolling, rolling, rolling. Just going to keep rolling. He can care who's in power. Why? That's y'all president. That's why I say that all the time. That's y'all president. They ain't my president. He the president of America, but he ain't my president. I didn't vote for him. I didn't put him. I'm just a man in America. I'm just a person in America passing through. People insist that Jehovah gave them their desires for their own hurt. And this great tragedy, this counsel of this earthly order, he promises this stability. And then when he built these magnificent tombs called temples, forgetting that the spirit of Jehovah dwelled not in temples made with hands, is what y'all did. Y'all want him to go dwell in this temple, and he's sitting in that government place. He's sitting in that White House, showing himself that he's God. And what they say, Trump believe he's God. You got a whole lot of people think he's God. This is the synthesis why voters always putting a man king over them in this world. And they don't trust Jehovah to guide their life. So every ballot that you cast is a confession before heaven that operates in the 100% fate. Fate, not faith. Every time you cast your vote on that ballot, you prove you have 100% fate. Putting man over you. You complain about the issues of this world and yet rush to vote for a man who promises something you seek, knowing full well he's going to adjust them as soon as he get in office. Knowing he's going to do it. As soon as he get in office, he change it. As soon as he get in there, he change it. But I want to show you something. I want you to see something. I want you to see something when you rolling with him. When you rolling with the Most High, you rolling with someone, you rolling with power. Psalms 89, verse 34, he says, my covenant will I not break, no altered thing that is going out my lips. You got me as a king? Dude, you ain't got to worry about it. I take care of you, bro. I got you. I got you. No, y'all want that king. Y'all want that king, that man king. Mine say, I can say, mine say, because I don't vote. Mine say, my covenant will I not break, no altered thing that's going out my lips. That's what he say. That's who I roll. That's how I roll. A lot of y'all fakely roll like that because I've seen a lot of no's running into it, but I know a lot of those people got the yes, they're really there. Ain't gonna go vote this year too. Boy. A true king versus a false king. See, even Yahushua himself warned us of this kind of craziness. Warned us. And it even tells you, actually, want to tell you what? I want to go to this because actually this leading up to what I want to go to. Let's go to Luke. I want to go to Luke 22:25. I want to go there. I just want to go, just show you something. Luke chapter 22, verse 25, 26. Luke 22, 25, 26. You got to see this. And he said unto them, the king of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them. Exercise lordship over a bunch of us. And they exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. Do anybody know what a benefactor really is? Does anybody know what a benefactor is? You go look in your spiritual dictionary. A benefactor is an oppressor. He's an oppressor. Go look. Let me see. Can I pull my? Let me see. If I can pour this in there, let me see. I'm gonna sit there and see. Let me see. I'm gonna put benefactor in there. I want you to see what a benefactor. I want you to see benefactor. Did I spell it right? Because it should have been there. Because it's in here. Actually, let me. And it's actually in here. I gotta find it on my other one, but it's in here. I gotta find it because I know it's in here. Shoot, I'll find it though. But the main thing is a benefactor. A benefactor is an oppressor. It's a tyrant. It's a man of sin. He's even a hypocrite. Saying he's going to do something and he's not. Why? He's a benefactor. He's a 100% benefactor. That's why he said, authority upon, he going to exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. That's why he's saying that. It says, but ye shall not be so. But he that is greatest among you, meaning in knowledge and all this, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief as he that doeth serve. Meaning, the one whoever knows so much, he should be the one teaching. Not sitting there having people serve him. Not acting as a benefactor. That's what he's saying. In a nutshell. So what you see, what they do, they operate in a certain way. Let's look at something. In 2 Thessalonians, they even show you this. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, picking up at verse 4. It tells you this. Who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, is benefacted, so that he, as God, sitting in the temple, sitting in the White House, sitting in the governor's house, sitting in the commissioner's house, sitting in that church building that's really just a house, showing himself that he's God. Show me a councilman in your city and he walking around that city as God. Can't wait to meet that mayor. Can't wait to meet that councilman. Tell me it ain't true. You walk around anywhere, you see that councilman come, people flock. Oh, I gotta meet him. Why, he king? He's king. He's king to these people. The true king ruled through servanthood. A true king, he's going to rule through servanthood. See, as it says, Yahushua contrasts earthly kings who dominate with the kingdom principles of servanthood. True authority served. True authority served, not controlled. See, when a false king is going to demand tribute. Actually, they sent me this video. I forgot what I said. I think it was either it was Deacon Jonathan or it was Elder Jenkins. They sent me a video. This one man, the church bought that man this man called himself a priest. They bought this man a Mercedes. Then the other one, where this man, these people came up and he wanted to see who gave this money, a certain amount of money. Some people brought up, this one lady and this kid brought up $1,300 and he got in that person's butt. Got in their butt. I would have took that money back and told him, man, you kissed my butt. I ain't giving you nothing. I'm talking about he reprimanded her on that. Actually, I wish I can find it. I'm going to sit there. I hope I can find it. If I find it, I'm going to sure pull it up. Let me see if I can pull this up. If I can sure pull this up. Let me see. Because if I can pull this up, I'm going to show it to you. I want you to see this. Yep. Got it.
Say what now?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I gotta show you. I gotta show you this. I gotta show you this. In this right here. This only a minute long, but you gotta see this.
Say what now?
I, Roberta McQuaid, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of Perfected Church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Need I say more? Need I say more? And the main thing is, people is going to still sit there and hold on to him. Need I say more? They're going to sit there and they still going to fall over their chairs to make sure they be right there where this man is. He said he wanted the people who gave 1,000 plus 1,000. You'll make these people, that I told you, this is a lot of our family members. They are not wise. They done built this earthly kingdom that you can see that goes like this. Actually, let me show you. Let me pull some more here. You see this here in Isaiah, looking at Isaiah 9 and 7. It says, of the increase of his government and peace, there should be no end. See, that's a true kingdom. That's a true kingdom. Psalms 145:13, it also gets a little bit more into it. 145:13. It says, thy kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. That kingdom that man has is a temporary kingdom. His kingdom is temporary. He won 1,000 plus 1,000. Our kingdom's already prepared, but we can't get to it. Why? Because we too foolish about what we do. We're too foolish about what we do. I'm going to show it to you. It's in Scripture. But this is our problem. It says, go and ye receive. Pray for a few days unto you that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. It's already here. Watch. Watch. But we so worried about these men seeking themselves. These men call themselves preachers, call themselves presidents, call themselves even ball players. This is what we do. This is the stuff we do. And think nothing about it. king, royal rulers, we going to do what we want to do. We do what we want to do. In Psalms chapter 24, looking at verse 8 through 10, we're going to see that, who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up ye heads, O ye gates. Lift them up, ye everlasting doors. The King of glory shall come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. Salah. Meditate on that. Meditate on that. He even said this when you look at this, when they call themselves doing something else. In Revelation chapter 19, verse 16. Tell you something even more. 19:16. And he have on his vesture, on his thigh, a name, a way written. It's a way that is written on him. King of kings, Lord of lords. King of kings, Lord of lords. The true king. No other king. Whether you can go get a politician, ruler, or religious leader, a throne after his own ambition, try to usurp their authority by force. And they're going to sit there and they're going to cast everything down. Make you serve otherwise. This is the problem that goes on today. In Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14, verse 20, it says, for the multitude allured by the grace of the work, took him now for God. That's little g. Little g. Which was little before, but honored as a man. What is wrong with us? This is what we do. And then this benefactor, this was the occasion to deceive the world. For men serving either calamity, what we were just talking about, or Trinity, he gonna press your butt. Still, that's my pastor. Really, that's interesting. That is so interesting. The occasion to deceive the world, either serving by calamity or Trinity, that ascribe unto stones and stocks that incommutable name, that incommutable way. He gonna do whatever he want to do. Whatever he want to do, he gonna do. The consequences of unauthorized kings. Consequences. We're going to look at these scriptures. We can't get around these. We got to look at them. They're set up kings, but not by me. Actually, let's go over there. Let's go over here to Hosea. Let's go look at Hosea. See what Hosea is saying. Hosea chapter 8 and verse 4. Let's see what Hosea is saying, 8 and 4. Let's look at it up close and personal. 8 and 4. We want to see this. They had set up kings. We done set up, now we over our body, we set up kings. Your overseers, but not by me. We done set up, I do what I want to do with my body. Not by me. They had made princesses. I knew it not. Their silver and their gold, have they made them idols, that they may be cut off. Tell me this is not true. Tell me this is not true. Please tell me this ain't true, and I'll show you a liar. Establishing an authority outside of Jehovah's will leads to idolatry and spiritual destruction. Unauthorized kings become false gods. That's every one of us done did this. Every one of us done did this. Remember I said kings and royal rulers. Kings and royal rulers. See, this is internalized temples of our bodies. According to the spiritual understanding, true kings, royal rulers, sovereign, these, we done called ourselves our own messiahs. We delegate, serve under our own supreme authority. I do what I want to do. Really, that's interesting. Highly, highly interesting. Actually, I want to show you something. Let's go over here. Let's look at something. I want to show you something in Romans 13:1. Yeah, you got mad now. Shoot. It says, let every soul be subject to higher powers, for there is no power but of God. Now people say, no, well, what about mine? What about mine? What about me? What about me? It's always what about you? What about you? There is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Why do you think we got so many stupid people in this world? Why is that? Why is that? We want to submit to our own stupid thinking. We want to submit to our own dumb analogies. We want to submit to our own ways of doing things. Yet, we assert this divine order and become our own kings, ruling our lives based on personal desires, based on personal ambitions, rather than submitting to Jehovah's will. We commit the highest form of idolatry. Us. 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 When we sit upon that throne, we do our own screwing up. We sitting in the judgment seat of our own sovereignty. Actually, I'm going to tell you what. You see this here? Let's go over here. Let's go look at Psalms 24 and verse 7. Let's look at that one. Because we need to see that one. Psalms 24 and verse 7. Actually, we're going to look at 7 and 8. Psalms 24 and verse 7. We'll show you this. And it tells us plain, lift up your heads, O ye gates, lift up your heads, everlasting doors. The King of glory shall come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord is strong and mighty. The Lord is mighty in battle. But we have created our own dominion. We have created this. Our own side, we created in our own heart. We have declared, I will do what I please. And then we embrace that satanic creed. That satanic creed is, I will do what thou wilt. You even see some rappers even used to wear shirts, had that on there. I will do what I wilt. Proclaiming, I will follow my own path. I'll be the master of my own fate. We have crowned ourselves kings and rejected Jehovah's righteous rule. This mirrors the same identical rebellion as Lucifer. Identical. Actually, I'm going to show it to you. Let's look at it. We might well look at it, can't get around it. Isaiah 14:14. As he said this, I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I'll be like the Most High. I'm going to be like God. I'm going to be like God. Now you follow me? This is the whole problem. So this key insight, when you sit upon the throne of your own heart and declare, I will do as I please, I will crown myself king and reject Jehovah's righteous rule. This is the essence of clear rebellion. Clear rebellion. Clear rebellion. Look at this. The king within. Self-rule as idolatry. Self-rule as idolatry. Can we get around this? No. When me and you sit upon our throne of our own heart and declare, I will do as I please or do as thou wilt, you have crowned yourself king and rejected Jehovah's righteous rule. Did you know that? Did anybody know that? When you sitting there saying, I'm going to do whatever I want. Did you know that? That's a yes or no. Did you know that? You automatically rejected Jehovah's rule. Did you know that? This is what we do. We have done this and we continually do it. He even warned us of this. Look at something. Delegated authority. We want to look at delegated authority. Delegated authority. Jehovah, King of Kings, Lord of the Lord. We've seen that. We just seen it. He delegate rulers, so he done put us here to serve under his authority. We're in these bodies to serve under his authority. The soul submits to Jehovah's kingship. You guys follow this. I know y'all should get this. Now, usurped authority, meaning you done took it by force. Self as king. How many people y'all done walked around and you done seen men talking about, what's up, king? Have you ever ran into these guys like that? I for yes, N for no. Have you ever ran into these guys? What's up, king? What's up, king? What's up, king? Silliness. Pure, can't even save themselves. Self as king, personal desires rule. Human ambitions, worldly validation sought. Spiritual death, rebellion leads to destruction. That's automatic. Automatic. Can't get around it. So we got this warning against unauthorized kings. So now we got unauthorized kings. Unauthorized kings. We got to look at it. Hosea 8:4. Hosea 8:4. We got to look at it. Hosea 8:4. And he said, they are set up kings, but not by me. They made princesses. I knew it not. They made, in their silver and their gold, they have made them idols, that they may be cut off. You did it to where you're going to get your butt cut off. Usurpation is what you can call that. You're going to get yourself cut off. See, this is the problem. When you self-appoint kings, worldly ambitions for fame and fortune, establish your own dominion, govern authority within their own bodies of this world, creating kingdoms of flesh that opposes to the kingdom of heaven. You don't go past go. You go straight to the lake of fire. They delegate their own desires, rule over their own members, appoint their own lusts as princesses in their own understanding, pride as governors over their own heart, covetous as magistrates over their own hands. All together. All together. Actually, I want to show you something. Let's look at something. In the same thing, we look at this in Romans chapter 6, looking at verse 23. We're looking at something. And it says, for the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through salvation of Jehovah, our Lord, through Jesus Christ, through salvation of Jehovah, our Lord. What? Yeah. I'm going to say this. See, this is the biggest problem in the world that the world is come up on. People say, why do you say that? Because I'm going to tell it to you. Don't worry, I'm going to explain it to you. Tell you what the problem is. Did you know you have a boundary stone? Did you know Nebuchadnezzar actually is a boundary stone? Did y'all know that? I know y'all knew that. Did you know Nebuchadnezzar was a boundary stone? Did you know Yahushua was a boundary stone? Interesting, ain't it? Did you know Paul was a boundary stone? Interesting, ain't it? Interesting. Did you know I am a boundary stone? Did you know that? They said, what? Yeah, I'm a boundary stone. Because guess what? As I continually push truth, you're going to have people to continually reject it. That's what he want to see. Who's the boundary stone? Who is willing to go the other way? Because guess what? He can care less how you feel about me. Actually, me too, but I really can care less. But the main thing is, he can care less how you feel about it. He put his word on who he want to put it on. And then, when you reject his word because you thinking it's that person, he know he can toss you. He ain't in need of a bunch of people. As many people think he needs you. He don't. He's just having grace and giving you an opportunity for eternal life. So a lot of people is being tossed. Yeah, look, some people will catch it later. That's okay. That's all right. So this tragedy, when rejecting Jehovah's loving sovereignty, which brings life, order, blessings to embrace Trinity of their flesh, which can only produce corruption, chaos, and cursing. So that's the issue. That's the issue here. And as you sit there and see this here, and you see right here, it says, when you crown yourself king. See, many people are going to sit there and say the same thing. He can't tell me what to do. I ain't telling you anything. I ain't trying to get you to do anything. I'm only here. I'm just the envelope and got some mail inside, and I'm just floating through. And if you open it up, you read it. So when you establish your own authority apart from Jehovah, you create an idol. That idol is your own will, your own ambition, your own understanding. The consequences is clear. You will be cut off. And it don't have nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing. That's the beautiful thing. Have nothing to do with me. Y'all just mad. You got probably, I can't, I don't like. He can care less. Please don't ask me what I think. Please don't ask me how do I feel about it. Please don't ask me that, because I sure will tell you. And tell you better yet, I won't even say it here. Ask me in Zoom, because my camera will be on, and then you can see me say it. And just ask me, how do I feel about it? Keep that in mind. So the same thing, that Jehovah alone is the rightful king, who is the King of glory, the Almighty. You see that in Psalms, which I showed it to you. He's the King of kings, Lord of lords. I showed you that. He's clear. He is 100% clear. See, but this third counselor, he said something that was interesting. The third one said the power of women, spiritual influences, animating forces. Women in this spiritual similitude represents the agencies of influences, the spirits that animate doctrines and authority. This is not about gender. You follow that? This is not about gender. This is not about that. So get that out your head, because this is not about gender. It's about spiritual forces that gives life to teachings and powers to systems. Everybody follow me. This gives life to teachings and power to systems. You with me? I told you it's going to get real crazy. Okay, let's look at something. Let's look at something. The third one, this garment. Remember Zerubbabel? I told you I remember that. I told y'all to meditate. I know a lot of y'all didn't. Y'all gonna say y'all did, but so don't ask me questions in the back because this goes a whole different way. And Zerubbabel made this most mysterious declaration. Actually, I want to show it to you.